The Council mocked Earth's weapons, until one prototype shredded their flagship. The Galactic Council chambers hummed with the low, dismissive chatter of a dozen alien species as Admiral Chen Wei stood before the crystalline podium. His weathered face remained impassive despite the barely concealed contempt radiating from the assembled delegates. The humans had been requesting military aid for 3 cycles now, ever since the Devourers had begun their systematic advance through the outer rimworlds. Admiral Chen, the Zephyrian Prime Minister's voice carried the musical quality of her species, though it dripped with condescension. Your species continues to petition for advanced weaponry, yet your own military technology remains quaint. She gestured delicately with one of her forearms toward the holographic display showing Earth's current arsenal. The display cycled through humanity's weapons, kinetic railguns, fusion warheads, plasma cannons, all crude by galactic standards. Ambassador Theclon of the Hegemony clicked his mandibles in what passed for laughter among his insectoid people. Projectile weapons, chemical explosives, honored colleagues, these primitives still hurl metal at their enemies. Chen's jaw tightened, but his voice remained steady. Our weapons may seem primitive, but they're effective. We've held the Devourers at bay for 18 months while other Council worlds fell in weeks. Through sheer luck and geography, scoffed the Altarian representative, his scaled hide shimmering with amusement. Your system lies at the edge of nowhere. When the Devourers truly focus their attention on Earth, your metal-throwing toys will prove as useful as harsh language. The Council erupted in harmonious agreement, chirps, clicks, and harmonic tones that Chen had learned to recognize as mockery. Only one delegate remained silent. Ambassador Yila of the Synthetic Collective, her photoreceptors fixed unblinkingly on the human. Perhaps, Chen said, his voice cutting through the noise, the Council would be interested in observing a field test of our latest prototype. The chamber fell silent. Prime Minister Zephyr tilted her elegant head, curiosity overriding her disdain. You speak of new technology? Something not shown in your files? Classified until today, Chen replied, but given the skepticism of this body, perhaps a demonstration would be instructive. 3 days later, the Council's observation fleet hung in the void near the asteroid belt of the Kepler 442 system. The massive hegemony flagship Razor of Dominion served as the primary observation platform, its 2-kilometer length bristling with the most advanced sensors in known space. Lesser vessels from each Council member flanked the behemoth, their crews eager to witness humanity's inevitable humiliation. Chen stood in the Razor's observation deck alongside the assembled dignitaries, watching the tactical display. A single human ship, barely 200 meters long, approached from the far side of the system. The vessel looked unimpressive, angular, matte black, with none of the graceful curves or intimidating spikes favored by other species. That? Ambassador Theclon's mandibles clicked rapidly. That tiny craft is your demonstration? The UES Prometheus, Chen confirmed, our first combat-ready prototype. The test target materialized on the display, a decommissioned Altarian heavy cruiser, its shields raised to full power. Even stripped of weapons, the vessel's defensive capabilities exceeded anything in Earth's conventional arsenal. Your target's shields could withstand a direct hit from a hegemony siege cannon, noted Commander Vexistar, the Razor's captain. What exactly do you hope to accomplish? Chen smiled for the first time since arriving. Watch and learn. The Prometheus came to a stop at maximum weapons range, nearly 3 light seconds from the target. For long moments, nothing happened. The alien observers began exchanging glances, whispers of confusion rippling through the deck. Is your vessel malfunctioning? Prime Minister Zephyr inquired. Charging sequence complete, Chen announced, pressing his comm unit. Fire when ready. What happened next would be debated in military academies for generations. The Prometheus seemed to flicker, not move, but somehow exist in 2 places simultaneously for a brief instant. Then the target cruiser simply ceased, not destroyed, in any conventional sense, but unraveled at the quantum level, its very atoms scattered across several cubic light-years of space. The observation deck fell into stunned silence. Even the usually imperturbable synthetic representative's optical array flared brighter as she processed what she'd witnessed. "Impossible," breathed Commander Vextar. "Nothing could penetrate those shields that quickly." "The shields weren't penetrated," Chen explained, his voice carrying a satisfaction he'd suppressed for months. "They were bypassed entirely. Our quantum displacement weapon doesn't fire through space, it fires through the quantum foam itself, emerging inside the target's hull at the subatomic level." Ambassador Theclon's compound eyes fixated on the empty space where the cruiser had been. "The energy requirements alone should be impossible for a vessel that size." "We solved that problem 3 months ago," Chen replied. "Turns out, when you've spent centuries perfecting the art of contained nuclear explosions, miniaturizing fusion reactors becomes significantly easier." Prime Minister Zephia's forearms trembled slightly, the Zephyrian equivalent of shock. "The implication, the tactical applications, are limited," Chen continued. "The weapon requires a 14-hour charging cycle and completely drains our power systems. But for surgical strikes against priority targets..." He let the sentence hang. Ambassador Yila spoke for the first time, her synthetic voice carrying unprecedented emotional subroutines. "How many of these vessels has your species constructed?" Chen's smile widened. "That's classified. But I can tell you that the Prometheus isn't alone anymore." The assembled delegates exchanged worried glances. The human weapons they had mocked, kinetic accelerators, chemical explosives, nuclear warheads, suddenly appeared in a new light. Not primitive, but foundational. The building blocks of something far more dangerous. "Perhaps, Prime Minister," Zephia said carefully, "the Council should reconsider its position on military aid to Earth." "Perhaps," Chen agreed. "Though I should mention, the Devourers made contact yesterday. They're requesting a ceasefire." Commander Vextar's scaled brow furrowed. "The Devourers don't negotiate, they consume." "Apparently they do both now," Chen replied. "Seems they lost their command ship when it jumped into the Sol system. Quantum displacement weapons work exceptionally well against targets emerging from hyperspace. They're already partially phased when they arrive." The observation deck fell silent again, save for the ambient hum of life support systems. Each delegate contemplated the same chilling realization. They had just witnessed the birth of a new apex predator. Humanity had been mocked for bringing primitive weapons to a galactic war. What the Council failed to understand was that humans didn't just build weapons, they perfected the art of making everything into one. And sometimes, the most dangerous predator was the one that looked harmless until it was far too late to run.